Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The USC Trojans pick up a very intriguing commitment in the 2024 class. Justin Tauanuu, three-star offensive lineman from the state of California, was formerly committed to Stanford. The USC Trojans come in late here and pick up the commitment. And this is a guy that, according to the recruiting services, not that high on, right? Three-star offensive lineman. You turn on the film, you can kind of see why he has offers from Texas in Tennessee. The growth potential that he has, I mean, he could be a very special offensive lineman 2 to 3 years down the road. Is he as college ready as a guy like Alani Noah or Elijah Page? Probably not. But when you put on the weight the right way when he gets to college, I mean, I think the ceiling is really high. A freak athlete with a great frame. Really excited to get into this one. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys, especially the USC fans. We've talked a ton of USC football, whether it's the highs, whether it's the lows. You guys always show a ton of love. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And as we get into transfer portal season, I think we're going to be talking a lot of USC football. I think Lincoln Riley going to make a lot of moves. We'll be talking about it here again. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Without further ado, let's get into Justin Tauanuu. And again, the thing I'll say with him first is the reason I think the recruiting services are a little low on him is he's not necessarily college football ready. But when you project him a couple years down the road, that's where I think it could really get special. Now, I'm a fan of what Lincoln Riley's doing along the trenches. Like Elijah Page in the 2023 cast, Alani Noah looked awesome in limited snaps that we've seen from him as a true freshman. They're getting some nice talent on the offensive line, which is going to be massive as USC moves to the Big Ten. Now, focusing in on Justin Tauanuu, this is a guy that you see the athleticism and kind of just that nasty raw power that he has right off the film. I mean, you turn on the film here, this is a guy who is 6'6", pulling around, getting to the next level, being an absolute road grader. You talk about culture, you talk about the kind of attitude USC is looking for. This is a guy that I think has that. And again, he just seems like a good athlete, really, really good feet. Obviously needs to fill out the frame, but in terms of raw power and athleticism in the frame that he has, I mean, there's a lot to like in him, and he plays with that nasty edge, which I'm sure Lincoln Riley is really going after. I mean, his whole film is pretty much him just dogging guys in the run game. And then when you see him in pass pro, he has really good feet, but I love him most when he's going downhill, getting into those gap schemes, and just absolutely road grading. Really good feet, really good upper body strength, and it's only going to get better as he continues to fill out that frame. Again, this is a guy that was only 280, 275 pounds when he was playing his junior year ball. The ceiling for this kid, I think, is so, so high. Again, you see, this is kind of what I mean about the athleticism. Like, you see just really good feet here in pass pro. When he's asked to get downhill in the run game, he's an absolute hammer. They're using him as an H-back here, pulling around, getting to the second level, pretty much picking up two guys there. I mean, this is a guy that you have to absolutely love. And you take a look at this USC class, it's not great, and they kind of slowed down, but I do like what they're doing along the lines of scrimmage, right? Jason Xanda, one of the best interior offensive line prospects in this class. You scroll down, I mean, I think a guy like Cam Fountain going down into SEC territory, getting him, that's really, really good. You scroll down a little bit more, I really like Mekhi Siena, another guy that USC went head-to-head with Texas and landed that commitment. Now, if there was one thing that I had to be very critical about Lincoln Riley and how he's going about recruiting is he's just not cleaning up the state of California as much as you would like. And when USC is thriving, when USC is back to that gold standard, they are the team to beat on the West Coast. And you look at the last couple of recruiting cycles, and that just quite frankly hasn't been it, right? Aiden Breland, Brandon Baker, two guys who are 5 stars out of modern day. USC didn't even really make that much of a splash in their recruitments. Now, the quarterback, Julian's saying, I'm okay with that. I know Lincoln Riley's going to get quarterbacks into the system. But again, Xavier Brown, USC loses out on that one. You keep scrolling down. Kingston Viliamu-Assad, again, a USC one that USC's got to land some of these commitments. You look at the state of California, they pick up Marcellus Williams. They pick up Xavier Jordan, two really nice gets, but USC should have 4 or 5 guys in the top 10 committed to USC, not just 2. And you continue to scroll down, and there's just a lot of examples of USC. Dakota Fields being another guy. Jericho Johnson is going to be a very big target for USC. But my takeaway here is, and DeAndre Carter probably falls into that as well, USC I'm happy that Lincoln Riley is recruiting nationally. I think that's really important. And when you think about USC and the potential they could have to clean up the state of California and go into Texas and the SEC territories, or even down in Florida in Jason Zandamel's case, and grab some top talent, that's great. But USC needs to do a better job closing their borders down and taking care of guys from modern day St. John Bosco. Those pipelines, when USC is thriving, those are the kind of guys that they're out going and getting. USC can't be missing out on Aiden Breland, Brandon Bakers that often. And they have in this 2024 class. So the number one thing I'm looking for, especially as we get into the 2025 and 2026 class, is Lincoln Riley and this USC staff hammering down the state of California. That kind of goes into the discussion we have about defensive coordinator hires. You're probably going to see a lot of coaching hire changes for USC. I think part of the discussion has to be, yes, they need to be proven good coaches in terms of player development, because that part has been lacking, especially on the defensive side of the ball. That being said, go after guys who know how to recruit the state of California, because if USC wants to get back to that national championship caliber program, it's going to be landing guys like Aiden Breland, Brandon Bakers. In the last couple cycles, they've missed out on too many of those guys. That's kind of my takeaways. But Justin Tauanuu, this is a guy that it might not make a ton of waves in terms of the news. He's a really good prospect that I think has a ton of upside when you get him into the program and if you develop him properly and get that body right. Really excited for USC. This is a very good get in my mind. Appreciate the USC fans rocking with the boys. Again, it's going to be a busy next couple of weeks in the transfer portal for the Trojans, whether guys are leaving, whether guys are coming in. We're going to be covering it. I'll give you guys some of my takeaways. USC fans, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys as always. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.